Hi, Advanced Band members. I'm using this opportunity to give you a little presentation on the SoCal slides that your parents saw last week. It'll be the first time that we talk about the SoCal tour. I know that you're going to have a lot of questions, and I'm not going to address every single aspect of the tour yet. But there is a Padlet in Schoology that you can use to write down any questions that I don't talk about, and we'll get to those. So the first thing you should know, this is the 9th time we've done this trip. You can see from this list that both Mr. McGinn and I will go, as well as all the other music teachers, Ms. Fitzhugh, Ms. Mumford. Our principal, Mr. Gerson, is going to go, as well as some of our support staff, Ms. Shear, Ms. Baccio, and Monica, who is the choir accompanist. So a little overview of what we do. On Wednesday, April 1st, you will show up at 7:30 in the morning and drop off all of your luggage and stuff that you will use on the tour in room 730. So 7:30 a.m. in room 730. You'll go to your first 3 classes of the day, and then you will be released for 4th period to go grab your luggage, bring it to the bus, which will be at the drop-off circle, and you'll eat lunch before you go. We try to leave before noon so that we don't overlap with any of the JLS lunch. And you will be riding on probably 5 charter buses. So these are the big cushy buses with bathrooms and DVD players. Sometimes they have Wi-Fi, but even when they say they have Wi-Fi, it doesn't always work that well. Or once everybody tries to get on it, then it gets a little bit slow. So keep that in mind. We like to say PG-13 and under movies for watching on the bus. You can bring your own, and we will also bring some ourselves. We'll probably have about 2 stops on the road. It takes a long time if people stop and everybody gets in line for vending machines to make our trip even faster to get down to LA, we actually buy some Costco snacks. So once you get off the bus, we'll have some snacks available to you. You use the facilities and then everybody can get back on quickly. The travel time down there is about 8 hours on a bus. It's longer when we have multiple stops and it's longer when we're on a bus. We will arrive around 8 p.m. We have to unload all of our luggage, get it up to your rooms, get you your room keys, and then everybody's going to meet downstairs on the first floor in the ballroom where we get fed. And we will have a giant pizza feast where you can eat all the pizza that you want. And then it's back up to your room and go to bed. On Thursday, this is an example schedule. We don't have any of our official times yet, but we'll wake up early in the morning. And the breakfast at the hotel is usually pancakes, eggs, sausage or bacon. They also have fresh fruit. They also have yogurt. They have cereal. They have juice. So there's many options. We get fed in the ballroom so that they can feed our very, very large tour group of about 300 people. We will depart for the park, not necessarily at 9 a.m. It might be earlier than that because sometimes we have an early time that we have to get there for. We put the soundtrack session. That's where you go backstage and you do a recording session. But it could be a performance that day. When you are not at a soundtrack session, you will be having free time in the park. You may go anywhere in the park that you want. You may not leave the park, and you may not travel alone. You must always be traveling with somebody else from JLS. Doesn't have to be band. You can mix it up with choir and orchestra people as well. You will have a meal card given to you by your chaperone. It's just a plastic swipe card that'll have money loaded on it, one for Thursday and one for Friday. It is your responsibility to spend that wisely and make sure that you get your full lunch and dinner while you're in the park. Sometimes it helps to have a little bit of extra money if you think you're going to need another snack. If you spend all your money on churros because you love churros, realize that you may have made the decision that makes you not feel so good at the park. We'll talk more about that later. On Friday, we'll do the same. Wake up early, eat breakfast at the hotel. Our departure time will be determined by our first performance. On the day that you don't have a recording session, you are going to actually have a concert inside the park. And we'll find out. That could either be in Disneyland or it could be in California Adventure. We'll tell you more about that when they let us know. Lunch and dinner is in the park. If we have a concert performance that day, keep in mind that there will be time when you're backstage getting ready and then going out on stage and then going backstage to put everything away. If you are done with your performance, then another thing that we're going to ask you to do is be an audience member for our other performing ensembles. So we will go and be in the audience for the orchestra concert and for the choir concert whenever possible. We always leave the park before the fireworks. If we wait longer than that, we will actually, it'll take us 45 minutes longer to get home. So we leave at about 9 o'clock. Keep that in mind. Saturday morning, we wake up early. You pack up all your stuff. Make sure that you don't leave any phone chargers plugged in, contacts sitting on the bathroom counter, shoes stuck under the bed. Everything needs to be cleared out from your room and loaded up on the bus and headed for home. We will stop for lunch on the way. We will stop for bathroom breaks if we need them. Lunch, you will actually be given a $10 bill, and you get to spend it how you want at any of the food establishments at the stop that we will make. Usually the stop we make has, In-N-Out, McDonald's, Baja Fresh, Taco Bell. I think there's a pizza place in there, either Little Caesars or Pizza Hut, one of those things. But several choices, or you can just buy at the convenience stores that are there. We usually get home around 4. That's dependent on traffic. If there was an accident on the highway on the way back, that slows us down. But we do give you enough time to call your parents so that they can just come and pick you up. This trip does back up to spring break. So once you are gone, you can be off to your vacation, whatever plans your family might have. An important thing for you to know is you need to stay eligible for this trip. You are ineligible if you receive any suspensions or 3 or more referrals from now until the trip. You need to act as a representative of JLS. So if you're having problems with discipline, you might not be a good ambassador for our music program. We've never had to remove anybody from the trip for suspensions or referrals. Mostly what we've had to remove people for is tardies. So starting at semester 2, we are going to be counting the number of tardies that you have going to any class. If you exceed 12, we have to determine that it's possible that you may not be able to be on time for our buses, for our performances, for any of the times that we need to have you show up at a place. So you may not be ready to go on a trip like this. The other reason you might need to be removed is if you are not in good academic standing. At the semester point, that means by December 21st, we will know if in semester 1 you're receiving 2 or more D's or any F's on your report card. We'll also be looking at third quarter progress reports. Anybody that's not in good academic standing is not ready to lose 3 days of class. You need to be at school working on your grades. We do need chaperones, so even though you might be groaning about, I don't want my parent to be there, the district requires that there is 1 adult for every 10 kids going. So every chaperone is going to be responsible for 6 to 12 kids. That's possibly 1 or 2 hotel room worth of groups. They will check in with you whenever there's some sort of attendance, like before we get on a bus or before we leave to go into the park or when we're coming home, all of those things. They also will check in with you during certain times of the day because we want to know that you're well. Those are the prices of chaperone rooms down at the bottom. It's the same as your fee. So, or not your fee, but your donation. The $675 donation, as you can see, covers our buses, 3 hotel nights, all breakfast, lunch, and dinner for dinner Friday night, and breakfast, lunch, dinner Thursday and Friday, and then breakfast and lunch on Saturday. So several meals. It's your entrance fee into the park, which is not it's not cheap by any means. All the gratuities, your backstage recording studio session, and the fee for the performance in Disneyland. We need enough funds to be able to cover any single person that wants to go on this trip. Our entire orchestra, our entire band, our entire choir is invited to participate in this, regardless of your financial capability to give this donation. Every year, about 85% of our students don't need a scholarship at all, but 15% do. They either need a full or a half scholarship or a partial scholarship. So our need is usually about $20,000. Keep that in mind. We do some fundraising. Some people just put extra money in when they give that intent form back or when they give their own donation. We will be doing a fundraiser at Gott's on November 21st, where we go and play in front of Books Inc. and in front of Gott's Burgers. That's at the Town and Country Center across from Pali High School. We usually raise about $1,200, and then choir sings at the Stanford basketball game in January. and that raises about $1,500. And then our biggest fundraiser is we do a benefit concert in February before we leave. It's a little taste of the music that will be on the SoCal tour, as well as having each of our music staff members, that's me, Mr. McGinn, Miss Mumford, and Miss Fitzhugh, performing on our primary instruments. So the total that we raise is usually about $6,000. And that helps everybody who wants to go be able to go. The form that you received last week is called your intent form, and it is due Friday, November 8th. That's not this Friday. This Friday is the 1st, but next Friday is November 8th. So please make sure that you sign the bottom of that your parent signs the bottom of that they fill in the back to say whether they want to be a chaperone or not. We need 20 chaperones. And then you can indicate on that form, yes, we're able to do the full donation, partial or full scholarship needed, or perhaps you're not able to participate with us this year. You probably have a lot of questions. I have not talked about what you need to bring, how you find your roommates, all of those things. And there is a Padlet linked in Schoology in the red subplans folder. Please feel free to record any of your questions on there so that we can talk about them later.